Okay, so I'm just gonna apologize for the bad lighting, and I'm also gonna apologize, but I have to build this story up. I have to give you a little pre-story before I get into what actually happened. But you know how you see those stories where your faith in humanity is restored? I never thought that I'd be one of the people to help someone else out to help restore faith in humanity. Hey yo, this is Dash. Here goes the story. I'm actually sitting in my 2012 Volkswagen Passat TDI. I was on my way to my weekly get-together with my group of Volkswagen, primarily Volkswagen friends. I'm headed down the highway, I'm headed down 95, and I live in Baltimore, and I'm headed down 95 to meet up with my friends where we link up, and I see a Beetle sitting on the side of the road, an old Beetle sitting on the side of the road, and I see a guy standing behind the guardrail, and I make the quick decision. I whip off to the side of the road, full stop, back up probably 300 or 400 feet to where he is, hop out of the car, and I'm like, hey, you okay? And he's like, oh yeah, my buddy went to go get, he went to go find a jack so he could get, and I look down at his car, and I see he's got a tow hitch on the front of his Beetle, so it could be flat towed. So I said, well, what's wrong with the car? I find out later he blew the engine, but what he said was his buddy came up from Tennessee. Right now, backstory, the gentleman flew up to Massachusetts to buy a car, bought the car, made it from Massachusetts down to Baltimore. He probably was in the 6 to 8 hour range, and the engine blew. So he called his friend in Tennessee, said, all right, I'm on my way. He drove up from Tennessee. He told me, I found out later again, it was an 11-hour drive. He came up, and when he got up here, they put the receiver onto the car. The problem was, the truck was too high and they couldn't get the car up on it. So, fast forward to where I meet him. I pull off to the side of the road, and here's some pictures of me sitting on the side, or it's us sitting on the side of 95. And I said to him, I said, well, what was the problem? He told me the truck was too high and they couldn't get the hitch up high enough. And I said, well, I have a receiver on the back of my car. I'm like, yeah, is it a 2-inch ball? And he said, I think so. I said, well, look, how about I go ahead? I said, you line me up. I'll pull your car off to the side of the road. We'll get you off a little safer to where you are, because he was really in one of the worst places he could have been. Not very much shoulder extra to where he was. And I towed him off to the side of the road, and when I got him finally off the side of the road, here's some pictures of the cars sitting off to the side of the road before we found his friend. Alright, so then what I did was I took him to a parking lot, and his friend, I navigated his friend to the parking lot, and this is where this video picks up. So this is me earning VW karma points. I found this guy. I don't even know your name, sir. What's your name?
Robert.
Alright, Robert. I found Robert on the side of 695. I stopped. His buddy came up because he just bought this car up in Massachusetts. Yeah. Made it from Massachusetts to Baltimore before the engine blew. Typical Volkswagen. But I came and saved the day because I had a tow hitch. And now we got to get it. Bill, right? Sure. We met, well, I talked to Bill on the phone to get him to where we are. But we... No problem. Well, let's get this thing up on the hitch. And we can go from there. Alright, so basically, that was when I pretty much introduced myself to the man that had been sitting in my car for probably almost a half an hour at this point, between the sitting on the side of the road with him, getting the car up on, getting his Beetle, I found out was a 65 Beetle, up onto my car. I got him towed off to the side of the road, or to the side of the road. I took him off the exit. We were sitting on the side of the road waiting for his friend. We got to talking and chit-chatting, and he, come to find out, he has I think he said he has 3 currently, including that one that he had, and he said he just fixed one up, sold it. Now I get him off to the once we find out where his friend is, I get his friend to the parking lot. I tow the car into the parking lot, and again, the problem was it was in a Silverado. The Silverado was too high. So I said, all right, well, look, put your Silverado up on one of the curbs. That'll drop it down just enough, and then hopefully we can lift up the front of the Beetle and get it up onto the, onto the ball. And that's what we ended up doing. So this is what this video is. All right, so Volkswagen karma is a thing. I don't know how much of that conversation you actually heard from when I went back across, but let me get a good picture of the car. There it is. Let's see. All right, gentlemen, again, you have a safe trip. My number's not on there, but just my my website, Instagram, and
right,
yes, sir. Hey, you guys have a good one again.
Well,
all right.
Heard The Last of Us. We're gonna get with you.
Okay, no problem. You ain't gotta do nothing but that. I mean, really, just make sure you want to tighten those bolts down on the hitch, or you guys good?
Yeah. Well, see, yeah. It just locks down. You put pins in there.
Okay.
And it got pins underneath the front axle.
Okay.
So it'll be. We just got to make sure to get the lights on there.
All right. Well,
I've
look.
got a good 12-volt battery. I don't know how long it would last without the engine running.
Well, from here, you looking at what? 6 hours to Chattanooga? 8, 11.
I was on the road 11 hours a day. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna stop talking to you guys. Have a safe trip. All right.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Yep.
Okay.
All right, and like I said, they were very, very grateful that I pulled off to the side of the road. Second, was able to get them towed, and then third, had the ingenuity to figure out what the best way to get them situated so they can get back onto the road and get back home to he told me Chattanooga, Tennessee, I believe. So But it was cool, you know. And he said, you know, the guy said, I don't even remember his name. I'll have to look back in the video and find his name. But he said, you know, what do I owe you? And I said, man, just give me a hug. That's it. Hey. That's all I ask of you. And I basically said, you know, this is me building Volkswagen karma. And not even just Volkswagen karma. It's one of those feel-good situations. And I definitely feel good about, you know, making sure that those guys were back on their way. And geez, yeah, 11-hour ride. So thank you for watching. If you could, share this to somebody who needs to see something positive in their day. I'd greatly appreciate it.